This video is all about my custom He-Man and Orko. I made a couple of small tweaks to Orko, but I definitely dove in with He-Man. I found myself not really content with the initial release of He-Man, and then there was a second, a third, we got like a fourth, and even a fifth at this point. The new Eternia one's really cool. That seems to be a new favorite for some people. But I saw pieces of the Savage He-Man in the Savage He-Man and Orko 2-pack that I thought could really improve the original release. I also took a good look at some custom heads and then found one that I really liked. I believe it was Barbossa Customs. I'll put the link in the description if I can find it. And I'm pretty happy with how everything turned out. The Savage He-Man, to be honest, was way too small. He is a hulking brute in that form, and it just didn't make sense. But I kind of like the idea. I also waited for the 2-pack to be on clearance, so I was very happy paying the price I paid for it. It was really Orko that was the must-have of the set. I found that Orko was a great addition, but definitely needed some work. For starters, this stand absolutely sucks. It's got a decent joint here. It can swivel really well, but this weird crooked base not only looks weird, but it keeps him at a height of about here. And I just felt like Orko likes to float and kind of fly around at random heights. Like, to just keep him in this little base just didn't make sense. I didn't mind so much the clear to white aesthetic, but once again, it was just too short. So the first thing I knew I was going to do to him was replace his base. And what I did was I had a Mafex stand left over, and this worked perfectly. These are totally adjustable. There's 1, 2, 3 points where you can go back and forth. All the hinges work. And when it came to how to connect them, I really liked a magnet. So I took the, I don't even remember what he had underneath here. I'll look in the pictures to see if I can find it. But I basically got it to form fit around a magnet, and now he's magnetized, and he's got all types of different heights we can reach. So I really enjoyed that. Another thing I did was I adjusted his ears. I don't know why, but his ears were always droopy and downward, and he just looked kind of depressed to me with that. Orko's ears are a pretty big inclination of how he's feeling at the moment. It's a way to get a character with no nose, no mouth, and eyes hidden by a hat. It's a way to add some emotion. So I wanted to make my Orko look a little more in the zone, possibly battle ready, not upset. So I cut the ears off, and they went from droopy, and I believe I swapped them because the angles worked out better that way. And now I got them going off to the side, which is a more generic or a more aggressive Orko, if you will. And then last but not least, oh wait, actually, before I skip that, I did trim this piece a bit. I noticed that the scarf here did hinder the ball joints at the shoulder here, because he doesn't have like bicep or elbow articulation, but he does have a pretty good shoulder joint. So I went along the lines with a hobby knife that was heated, and I was able to just smoothly go up there and do the same thing over here. I did, however, find his hands in weird combinations, so last but not least, I cut this hand off at the base, and instead of the hand being in a kind of a forward position, I cut it and then cocked it back so it looked like he was casting a spell, or at least using his hand. He could be opening a door, basically using his magic in any way possible. Grab one of these generic Marvel Legends effects, and this one works pretty well. I don't even know where this fire effect is from, but at some point I had this rigged up in his hand pretty nicely. I'll figure it out again and take a couple of pictures. Oh yeah, there we go. So I can have Orko wielding fire now. Because that was another thing that I felt this pack was missing. You know, we got a black mage here. Like, why doesn't he have elemental magic? All right, so that's it for Orko. He-Man was fun, but took a while. I believe what I did here was, I believe this is the Savage He-Man body. What I did was I used acetone very lightly with Q-tip to remove all the excess wash that they gave him, because they kind of went OD and it looked like he was dirty. So that's why he's got very little on him. He was very glossy, but Mr. Super Clear fixed that problem. I ended up cutting both the belt and the loincloth at the waist from the original to take over here. So I believe the parts that are from the original He-Man release are the chest harness, the wrist wear, the belt, the loincloth, and the boots. The boots were just painted with some cheap acrylic paint. I ended up covering the whole boot in a mix to try to get like a dark brown. And then with a Q-tip, I took some of the paint away and it ended up giving me like a leather look. I don't know if you guys can see. I'll get a better picture of it if it's not here in the video. And I really like the way it came out. It looks like leather straps with fur boots, and I think the wash kind of ties the loincloth together, and I feel like he just matches a whole lot better now. He's also bigger because the Savage He-Man body is bigger. They started tweaking with the upper body, specifically the upper torso, I believe, and it widened out. The original was too narrow, and them using it for other characters like, you know, Merman and Stinkor made sense, but He-Man needs to be bigger and broader than the average, you know, villain, monster, or even any other masters. Like, he needs to be the biggest. And I'm glad he is now. As I mentioned before, this wider back here works really well, but I still couldn't get the chest harness to stay in place, so it's actually super glued. So these are a few quick tricks and tips that anyone can really do. The painting, the paint washing, the dry brushing, that's really nothing crazy. Orko was faster than He-Man, but they still, I don't feel like they took too long. I still got more customs on the way. I actually just picked up the new Eternia Beastman and the new Eternia Stratos. They're definitely getting paint washes and probably some dry brushing, but that might be it. I don't know if it's worth a video. I also am in the middle of experimenting with Battle Cat here. I painted him up to give him a more original color scheme. I changed the orange for yellow stripes, and I hated how plastic-like he looked. So I'm liking how he's looking a lot better now. I think the armor's next. I'm going to try to make the saddle together with the helmet and get it real nice and make it look like real leather. And I think it'll look a lot better on the shelf. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more updates. Peace out. Have a great day, guys.